In 3, 2, 1, and thank you for tuning in to Bridge Podcast, episode 10. We officially made it 10 weeks so far. Let's get into it. So we've had a lot happen since last week, main thing being Christmas. Hope everybody had a nice and Merry Christmas. We've had supposed Palestinians burning down Christmas trees, and after reports of supposed Israelis doing the same thing, so you know, who really knows what to believe anymore? Let's see what I got for us today here. Figured we'd we'd start strong here. China. Just playing. I mean, who knows what to believe anymore. I want to touch on something from the day after Christmas, though, which is when I saw the headlines. Trump launches attack on Islamic State. About time something happened. I'm just confused as to why it took so long, or more specifically, why we waited until Christmas Day, basically. Almost like it was all a show or something. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm glad something happened and something was done. I just want to make sure it was done for the right reasons, you know, because that should matter. That's my whole take on that. You know, these things matter. How we achieve a goal matters, or should matter. I mean, that's what anybody means when they say maybe we shouldn't bomb a hospital because there's suspected Hamas inside, you know? But I think Israel knows that and doesn't care, because their goal isn't to eliminate Hamas. It's to level Gaza, which is basically what they've done. They've succeeded. I mean, they're all Hamas. They're all teaching their kids to hate Israelis, or could there be another reason? Because the Israelis teach their kids to hate them, that's for sure. Hell, they've taught America to hate them. Israel has taught America to hate them. I mean, or at least, I'm going to move on here. Talk about something going on here in this amazing country of ours. The state of Minnesota. I mean, if you don't know what's going on by now, you're sleeping under a rock. I don't know what to tell you. What's going on with Minnesota? We know that. It's Tim Walz, you know. $4 million. Somalis have built up this $4 million fraud empire under Timmy Walz. Somali-owned daycares are empty, yet have received up to $4 million in state funds provided by the taxpayers. How does this even happen? You know, like, how do we give them that money without first making sure that there's kids in the school? I mean, here's a video showing Nathaniel M. Olson. He is a disabilities activist, and he kind of has a valid crash out here on Timmy Walz. So take a look here.
And these politicians are just walking off, thinking it's okay Tuesday, and they want to go visit the Trump. They want to blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired. My people are suffering. I'm scared for my little brother. My people are suffering, and these people just walk off. We have a governor who he doesn't care.
He's a little dramatic, but he's not wrong.
How many more people are going to freaking die? How many more people are going to go homeless?
Yeah.
And how many more people
are
going to be trafficked in our freaking system?
But he's right. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a little dramatic, but he's not wrong. I mean, that $4 million could go a long way. You know? For the actual community. And that's just the amount of fraud that we know of. Not to mention, you know, that's just the surface level. I did think the person in charge of Minnesota could have been vice president. Minnesota. The same place where we have middle and high school students hosting walkouts, chanting, "No more ICE." I did something on that in episode 8 or something, I believe. But, you know, how we let this happen is just beyond me. You know, this is how, though. We let people like Lieutenant General Penny Flanagan into office. And when that happens, I mean, these people are traitors. Watch this.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today. I am incredibly clear that the Somali community is part of the fabric of the state of Minnesota.
Are you kidding? Like, what an embarrassment. I mean, here they get caught stealing $4 million from taxpayers, and the people that are supposed to be representing the taxpayers are standing in solidarity with the ones robbing them blind. It's just like, can't even make this stuff up. It sounds so ridiculous. It's got to end. I mean, blows my mind, man. Oh, and that YouTuber kid, he was in the beginning of that clip. Let me pull it back up real quick. Props to him. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But it's like when YouTubers are doing the jobs of journalists, then there's a problem. There's a problem in America that needs to be solved. And it's not even being addressed. Yeah, this kid right here. Good job. You know? And how about the latest with the whole TPA situation, or TPUSA situation? You know, I'm sick of people trying to convince the world that Charlie's message was anything other than first Christ's salvation, and then asking questions in the name of truth. I mean, he openly condemned Nicki Minaj, saying he thinks she's damaging to young women, yet they usher her on stage like they were best friends or something. I mean, not that we care what Charlie said or anything, considering he said that Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes, and he has no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause a week before getting killed, and then his organization takes up the pro-Israel cause and accepts all the donations that Charlie denied. Sounds about right. You know, every time Turning Point hosts an event, I feel like I see more and more people that are like getting weirded out by certain things. People saying things like felt like everybody else is paid to be there, you know, or not seeing many American flags, if you know what I mean. I think that's what Ace said last week. All we have to do is let them continue to act. They're waking people up themselves the more they do or double down on their freaking press tour with the book release, a literal press tour, and you know, it's just freaking, it's enough. Yep, and then now they have the whole pro-Zio spin on TPA. It's wild. Oh, and now another news, Rabbi Shmuley, or whatever the dildo doctor's name is, now wants his own global IDF. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I follow him on Instagram. This came up on my feed.
Video of two Hasidim being assaulted, elderly men with white beards, in London by an anti-Semitic assailant is so sickening and so horrifying that it's gotten me all riled up. Now let me explain something. The Jews in Israel face murder every day. 2 Jews were murdered and slaughtered by terrorists on the eve of Shabbat. That's an abomination. But there's one thing that separates them from the diaspora. They have someone to protect them. It's called the IDF. Now the IDF fails sometimes. Look at October 7th. But in general, the Jews there know they have protectors. The Israeli Border Police, the Israeli police, and of course, most of all, the IDF. But we Jews in the diaspora, who is there to protect us?
What is diaspora?
We rely on the police. But where the hell were they at Bondi Beach? There were 3 cops there to protect 1,000 Jews amidst escalating insane anti-Semitism. And I warned the community 5 months ago in speeches that I gave that God forbid there'll be a multi-casualty event. No one listened. But they didn't even bring the police to protect them. And the police had guns, didn't even use them. Now you have the London police, who are the freaking biggest cowards. If you're lucky as a Jew, you'll be lucky that they just don't arrest you. If you walk by, as they've done to several Jews wearing a Magen David near a Free Palestine march, saying that you are inciting them by wearing a Magen David, by wearing a yarmulke, is that amazing? So you have the Metropolitan Police in London, cowards. Scotland Yard, cowards. Australian police, I'm sorry to say it, cowards. I mean, maybe a few of them are brave, but Bondi cowards. I'm sorry to say it, but we have to establish Jewish security forces in the diaspora. Now, I don't.
This guy standing here as if he doesn't literally sell sex paraphernalia for a living. I'm sorry to say. Like, oh man, it just gets under my skin. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have this attitude, but.
I mean vigilante justice, God forbid. I mean groups like the Showmen who work alongside the police to protect the Jewish community. This has to now happen in Paris, in London. It has to happen in New York. It has to happen in Florida. It has to happen in Amsterdam. It has to happen in Sydney. Mayor Kahana is associated with the JDL. I'm not talking about the JDL. It's controversial, and I have no time to discuss it right now. There were many things that he was amazing at, but then there was rhetoric he used which spilled over into something that was unacceptable. But his core idea that we should have groups that simply protect the community are now essential. I cannot watch Jews being beaten up in London like that. And by the way, if you look at the video, you'll see that it was the London...
Yeah, because Jews are the most persecuted right now. Because there's not an entire slaughtering of Christians going on in Nigeria, Sudan, you know? What about, I want our own Christian army. Like, when do we get that? Do we get a global Christian army?
Showman who posted the video. It's tragic to say, but we really cannot rely on local police anymore. Jews are being assaulted, slaughtered everywhere, like in Australia. If you're interested, write to info@shmuley.com. I already have jewishdefense.org. We own the thing. We own it on Instagram. I think it's time that we defend ourselves. God bless you.
I mean, that's some scary stuff. Are you kidding me? Do you hear what he's saying there? I mean, he's saying he wants to have an army to go around globally to combat anti-Semitism, or what they deem anti-Semitic. If we let that happen, the whole world would look like the Gaza Strip in 10 years. Or worse. I mean, come on, people. How can we not see it by now? You know, it's how we can get videos like I'm about to show and it gets discredited because it came out of Palestine. Ready for this one? Viewer discretion advised. So here.
Documenting what happened moment by moment.
Here's the IDF.
We have two good angles of what's happening there.
Here's what he wants global.
They bring him to this filmed area and take him to a wall with a dog. 4 more conducting the search, 3 guards securing the perimeter.
Now notice they put the shields up because they know that there's cameras on them.
At the start of the search, forced 100 soldiers pin Samuel against the wall.
I don't know why it says 100 soldiers.
Legs bound and blindfolded. A minute into the search, he drops to his knees. The videos have no audio, but you can see the dog is very agitated.
Unbelievable.
Samuel returns to lying on the floor.
Why are they holding the shields up?
The soldiers, at this point, he's resisting the search. Now the dog handler switches with his teammate and does something, making the detainee thrash on the floor. About 3 on him each time. They rotate a bit, but eventually there are 5. Samuel positioned behind there.
Unbelievable.
You see excessive movement between his legs and him falling slightly as his shirt twists.
You know, why are they holding the shields up?
Footage from 2 different
people want to say
documenting what happened moment by moment.
Sorry, they're just still playing. Yeah, why are they holding the shields up? And then I was gonna say, people want to, you know, say Israeli women have been raped, and you know, they sent a testimony video. This is a little bit stronger than a testimonial, and I don't want to minimize rape in any way, but it happens. You know, it happens in office buildings. It happens in freaking alleyways, and it happens because of weak men. It happens because there's a perverted sexual desire that weak men, no matter the nationality or ethnicity, are going to fall into, and those people should be shamed, castrated even, for all I care. But what's the excuse for 6 men sticking flashlights and other objects up a man's ass until it ruptures his anus? You know, that's something that only pure evil is capable of. Something that only pure evil can produce. Like, these men were put on trial, but 5 of them walked. 5 of them walked. There's only 5 of them in that video, by the way, maybe 6. I'm going to leave that at that, move on here. But, you know, show me a video like that the other way around. It's crazy me people believe this shit, man. Just like people believe Charlie was killed by some weirdo kid that was into trannies. I mean, as if that kid really had the motive, the means, the manipulation power, the beneficial outcome, benefited from the outcome because he's on top, right? No, wait, that's Israel. And seemingly Erica, with all that donation money flowing. Netanyahu just flew in for his 6th meeting this year with the president, in-person meeting, under the guise of some peace plan. But we all know how that worked out last time. Lots of peace going around, right? Whatever it is probably going to cost American taxpayers more than it already is, which is about $17.9 billion in military aid alone since only October 2023, if you didn't know. And that aid included, ready, I have a little list here, 15,000 bombs used to level Gaza, 60,000 artillery shells, 100 bunker buster bombs, 5,000 MK-82 bombs, more than 4,500 MK-84 bombs, and a whole bunch of other shit. That's what I wrote. I didn't feel like writing the rest there. But not to mention the $20 billion in jets and tanks and mortar shells and etc. that good old Biden signed over in August of 2024. Sorry, just a quick little history lesson on how much we've given Israel in military aid. Short history, though, because it's only since 2023. And then we have the tens of billions of dollars in non-military aid that we've given them over the years. Money that they use to buy our politicians and secure their support. And enter AIPAC. That's where AIPAC comes in. If you don't know who AIPAC is, look into it yourself. Here's a little clip, though.
Back when I first started AIPAC, Steve Rosen, who was my boss and was later indicted for espionage against the United States. I know, he's still around, though. You're allowed to get indicted for espionage. Depends who you're doing it for. He sent me a now famous memo. It's now famous because I gave it to the Washington Post. He warned me not to ever talk. This is my 2nd day there. Never to talk about AIPAC activities outside the lobby. He wrote, "A lobby is a night flower. It thrives in the dark and shrivels up in the sunlight." I think that may be happening now thanks to all our efforts. If it does, not only the United States, but the world will be better off. This night flower needs crushing.
You know,
when I first started AIPAC,
it's really crazy if you can't see it by now. That's why no wonder people are craving authenticity. People are craving sincerity. Yet the ones who try to be sincere end up getting ridiculed or labeled as anti-Semites like Miss Rachel. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I've already talked about Miss Rachel a few times, but I'm sure I already sound like a broken record. But then we have the list, I'm starting to believe that the list really was, just the largest. I'm sorry, Epstein Island was the largest blackmail operation in history. And the reason we still don't have the list is because there's still active assets on it. I mean, give me another reason. Come on, people. It's pretty obvious by now that both sides of the aisle have been corrupted by, Epstein. That's why instead of releasing the real names, they need to smear the names of Michael Jackson by posting that picture of him in the plane with his own kids. Come on. But we're going to talk about some of the other 20,000 files that were recently released, the ones that aren't in the headlines. Thank you to the people that take the time to sift through this stuff, because God knows it's not me. I don't have the time or the patience, really. But people send me this stuff, and some stuff I see just scrolling, the people I follow and whatnot. But this stuff's not, mainstream news. So thank you. Thank you to those people. But also thank you to whoever messed up the redaction, if you haven't heard about this. So supposedly you could take the some of the redacted files and put it into any word processing, any Word document processor, and reveal the text underneath the black boxes. Or if you highlight it, it'll show the text. I haven't done it myself, but I've heard that from multiple sources. No one knows if it was straight up incompetence, or a guilty fueled act, or just a good Samaritan trying to expose evil. Well, whatever it was, it stands to say the truth will always prevail. Now, warning, some of this stuff is just hard to imagine. but it's important we talk about it. It is. So viewer discretion advised. This is just the document. It is the redacted version, but it shows enough here. I mean, so let's take you back to Lake Michigan. Violation in question, according to the official FBI document, sex trafficking of a minor and infanticide. 1984, Lake Michigan. Victim claims that Donald Trump, a man who would regularly pay her uncle to pimp her out to him, was present when said uncle, supposedly Jeffrey Epstein, murdered her newborn child and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan. Once again, official FBI documents here. And we're hearing about Michael Jackson. Or how about the taxi driver? And if you haven't looked at this document, it literally... No, hang on. This one doesn't say the Trump one. I'm sorry. I'll pull it up, but let me pull up this other one real quick. This is a taxi driver who picked up Trump in 1995 to take him to the DFW airport. Poor guy said he heard Trump say some very disturbing things, talking about abusing some girl and repeatedly saying the name Jeffrey, to the point where the driver says he was ready to pull over. Now, don't think this stuff is convenient by any means. You know, it's not, like I said, this stuff's not front page. Let me see. What happened to... No, that says, it's a work thing. What the hell? Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened on that first document, but you can find it. Maybe I'll cut it in here. But, yeah, it names Trump in the official unredacted version. And then you undo the redaction and it just gets worse. What are we going to do about it? And again, it's not headline news. These are normal citizens digging through this stuff and finding it. What are we going to do about it? Now, I'm sorry, but I don't play that game where, like, I'm going to just defend someone because I currently support them or I supported them in the past and want to keep doing so. If there's even the slightest chance that Trump was caught up and we're running around with Epstein, then I'm sorry. I don't ignore it. And you know what? If Epstein Island really did have the purpose of being the largest blackmail ring in history, then, you know, stuff kind of starts to make sense, doesn't it? I mean, that's why we haven't gotten a list. That's why Trump is acting like, you know, BB's puppet. That's why we were told he was going to drain the swamp, but the corruption got worse. Things are bad. I mean, not as bad as they would have been if Kamala was in charge, but that's besides the point. Or maybe it's not, you know. If the people lobbying with most of both Republicans and Democrats wanted a certain candidate to win, all they would have to do is get someone like Kamala to run against them. Controlled opposition. I mean, how else can we explain freaking Tim Walz almost becoming... he was a serious candidate for vice presidency, guys. I think that's enough for 1 week. Let's talk about next week's episode for a minute here. Next week, we have another special guest coming on. We're getting the role of like every other week here. She's coming on to tell her story. Her name is Jen Rockwell, and she is an ex-member of Greg Locke's congregation. If you're not familiar with Greg Locke or who he is, that's okay. We're going to dive into it next week. But just so you get the gist, he's a very controversial head pastor of Global Vision Bible Church in Tennessee, advocating for a strong Judeo-Christian America. And he says things like, you know, wipe the Palestinians out, get the Israelis in there and build the third temple and usher in the second coming of Jesus, which is just so wrong on so many levels. And thankfully, we have somebody like Jen who got out of it and is willing to share her story to prevent the growth of this misguided movement. She describes herself as going from locked up by religion to becoming unlocked by her identity in Christ, which I just think is awesome. As somebody who more recently doubled down on their faith, I must say it really does like change your outlook on things. So, you know, I've always believed in Christ, but believing and walking are two different things, if you know what I mean. But anyway, we're going to cap it there. Like I said, we got some good things planned for next week. I am thinking about we're organizing things with the whole bridge organization. Sorry, it's been a long week. I'm tired. But thank you guys for tuning in. You know where to find us. We're at bridge.american on Instagram, bridge_American on Twitter, and now we are on TikTok. I think it's bridge.podcast. I'll put the correct one below, whatever it is. Thank you guys. We'll see you on episode 11.